Ready.
Good morning, everyone. Today is I think we have two more after this one in the Torah following the yearly cycle. And this portion is Nitzavim. And as often happens to me when I open up to the week's portion, I just get totally stuck or stop or opened at the first word, Nitzavim. Nitzavim is a word that's generally translated as standing, and it's a particular quality of standing that I don't believe we've heard before in the Torah. And what's happening again is Moses is speaking to the people who at this point, perhaps they are going to enter the promised land, and they certainly haven't yet. And Moses is going to enter his version of the promised land, which is not the physical land of milk and honey. It's going over to another side. So in other words, he's going to leave his body before the people enter. And so he's delivering this to them. So it's an interesting new Sinai. The people are all standing together in this standing as nitzavim, this kind of mysterious quality of standing. And instead of actually directly facing what can't be seen, which is this God of fire and smoke, it's Moses. So that's a whole thing to ponder. Where I want to go right now, or where it took me, is what is this quality of standing? And what came into my inbox this morning somehow spoke to me. So this is an email from Reverend Bishop William Barber and the Poor People's Campaign. The Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. This morning at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, which is in this moment, we are here in the Woodstock Jewish Congregation virtual space at 9 a.m. A diverse group of faith leaders from across the country will gather in Washington, D.C. for an urgent congressional briefing to make a moral demand that Congress act on the following issues before the midterm election: living wages, voting rights, reinstatement and expansion of policies that research shows can immediately lift millions of families out of poverty. A national press conference will immediately follow, where to shine a light on the moral emergency we are facing in this nation and the need for policy action now. So according to Nitzavim, this parsha, the people who are standing in Washington, D.C. right now, and us sitting in our living rooms on Zoom, we are all together because the parsha is very specific. To be a human being and receive the gift of life, it means that you are part of this collective that's nitzavim, that's standing together. And it's the parsha, the Torah is very specific. It's not just those who are physically here in the body, it's those who will be here. And as somebody just said before we started, it's not just the men, it's not just the chieftains, although they are mentioned, so they are here, right? It's the women, it's the children, it's the water bearers, everyone. So we are all in the same moment. And we're all in the same place in our human struggle. We're on the end of a desert, and we know this. So what is this parsha saying to us? Like, what is this moment? And it's saying, I think one way of interpreting what it's saying is that when we stand firmly, so I learned in a Hasidic class with David Ingber, Nitzavim has this quality of standing firmly or when we are stationed, which is how Everett Fox translates this, when we are stationed as a collective and fully present, that's when something can happen in our collective energy so that we can cross over to the next level of human evolution. And it's so clear to us that this moment is urgent. And I'm going to talk about Teshuvah in a moment, because not only is this moment in the people's journey in the desert and in the collective desert journey of our country happening right now, this is also a few days before Rosh Hashanah, where we're doing Teshuvah, which is a big theme of this parsha also. But so what are these different qualities of standing? And how do we stand in a way that creates a new energy? So when you look at what's happening in the parsha, there's this quality of standing together, not against. There's no standing against, right? In fact, as the parsha goes on, the people who are sort of metaphorically stand for, another play on standing, stand for the falling in the wrong direction, are the ones who stand against, right? So there's a quality of standing together that comes out of connection. So I think it's connection with the present moment, first of all. Like, where is it? Like when you think about in martial arts, in Aikido, like, what is it that puts you in your full power? It's when you are standing fully present, right? In the present moment. So that's one clue that for us to elevate individually and collectively is that we have to keep returning and standing in the present moment, in every moment. And we have to stand with, as I said, not stand against. And I think this is such a beautiful call to those of us who are activists, to really focus on what do we want to call people to. And I think not just what are we against, what are we for? What is the vision we have of this promised land that can enrich and support all of us? And the way I'm reading the parsha this morning is that the vision, the positive vision, is this covenant, and the covenant, the agreement, the meeting, the brit with this life unfolding. It's a covenant with life, really is a covenant of life, because the parsha goes from standing together to choosing life. So our covenant as a people, whether it's the Hebrew people or the whole human family, as the parsha is so clear, it includes everyone, is to choose life. We are called to enter a covenant of life. And so what does this mean for us in this month of Teshuvah, of returning? I think it means returning to life. And I'm thinking of specific practices that some of us are engaged in, that when we find parts of ourselves that have been exiled, how can we bring them back to life? So that's the first step, really, is to look at, where have I exiled parts of myself? Maybe it's the part of myself that's hurt, or maybe it's the part of myself that wants me to write a book or paint or spend more time in nature. Can we bring that part of ourselves back? And then, who are the people that we have exiled? People in the past and people of the future. So there's so much in this parsha, right, about who's here right now or the future. So many of us, of course, are climate activists right now, or we're certainly aspiring to be climate activists right now. That is a way of really standing with the future. I think in a way, it's the principal way of standing with the future right now. Well, maybe not. I guess there are people who just need food and water right now. But so to look at teshuvah as this process of re-entering, returning to this covenant that's spelled out in Nitzavim, the covenant for life. What can I do, not only so that I'm written in the book of life, which is what we say for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but also what can I do to bring down to this plane of existence where we're physically standing, to bring life down, to bring life here. So there's a way in which we're moving up for teshuvah, returning to this life unfolding. There's some beautiful names for the eternal in this parsha. So it's a rising up to reconnect, but it's also that we are bringing it down. So for us to stand firmly, we need to stand in the present moment, fully connected to ourselves and to each other, and to bring down to earth, to make manifest whatever insights we get from that process. So I think this really is a call to action, as I just read the call to action from the Poor People's Campaign. And something else that's so strong in this parsha, I think that can really inspire us, and certainly that has inspired those who follow the Torah as a spiritual guide, is, well, how do we know what choosing life is, right? This is one of the parshas that really says, choose life, choose life, choose life. Like, where do we look to learn this? And this is the parsha that says, don't look to others. Don't look around and go, who can cross that sea and come back and tell me what to do? Who can climb that mountain and come back and tell me what to do? Which is almost word for word what the parsha says. It actually says, it's already in you. It's already in you. So it's such a beautiful, I think this is a parsha where you could say that God, as we might just call Yud He Vav He and Elohim in the Torah, is doing teshuvah with us, right? The parsha is saying, okay, you've been up and down, as the song goes, and yet the force of life, the energy of life, trusts that you really do know the way to go. It's very close to you. It's already in your mouth. So I just want to bless all of us to enter into this new year asking, what brings me more alive? What is the life-sustaining path? And what do I already know inside myself? What are the words, the things that are already in me, ready to really escort me more deeply into life? So when we maybe are praying in Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, please write me in the book of life, to remember this parsha. It's actually saying, we're writing ourselves in this book in every moment. And I wanted to say, when you look at the parsha, the variations of the word teshuvah, which is to reconnect, one way of connecting, there are 7 of them in this parsha. So 7 times this parsha mentions variations of shuv, teshuvah. And I think that number 7 can really be understood in the context of Torah and the Jewish tradition as something that's a continual cycle. So this return, it's moment to moment, return to your breath, return to the present, return to realizing what's important to me. Why would I want to do teshuvah with this person? Oh, maybe because that relationship is important to me, or it's important to me that I walk my talk in a better way, or because I want to discover what happens. So it's a continual process, every moment of return. And this Parsha really, I think, shows that life itself, life unfolding itself, has a trust that we can do this. So I think this is an optimistic Parsha, and it's a second revelation for us. So there's so much more. And I actually really liked my blog from last year, so I'll send that to everybody. Because there's just so much to play with, and many blessings for this new turning of the year. Thank you.
Yasher Koach.
Amen. Joan, are you up for blowing today? Don't forget to unmute and
Okay, so
May this shofar call us back to the present moment. May we hear the call to life in this blowing of the shofar.